Right, so installation part 2. I think we've established that the resonance of this pump inside, as well as just the sound of the actual diesel heater itself, is a bit hectic. So my plan is to either build a box or go look in my garage to see if I can find something that will fit around here somewhere. And I remember bringing this thing, I've just emptied it over here, but I remember bringing this piece of concrete pipe over to create a raised kind of little bed, I suppose, or a planter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to carry it. Well, I can carry it, but then I've got to put the phone down. So I'll roll it a little bit down this way, take it home. And I think if I put that upright and then put the diesel pump, both the actual ticking pump as well as the diesel filter in there, maybe even the power unit, although I don't think it's necessary, and then put a cover over the top of that, seal the bottom sort of on concrete or something like that. I think I still have 1 or 2 paving stones left that I can sit this on. In the back of my garden, next to the tree, next to the shed, then we're on to a good thing. Well, it's time for take 2 of this heater install. Nice day, 0 degrees outside, bit of frost on the grass. I cut the grass yesterday. But another nice day, actually, considering the storms that have been part of the country. Yeah, happy. Well, it's a much nicer day indoors than outside. Today we have take 2, part 2 of Phil's installation of this diesel heater, basically revising some stuff. Let's see if the man's going to park on the drive. Oh, he's good. He's going to see if he can reverse that onto the driveway. I'm sure there's enough space. Let's see him do this thing. Right, so he's not chancing it, but that's okay. I guess it's so much easier just sticking the van on the side of the road here in the farm lane. It's my other lodge's work truck, and Phil beeping back like an ice cream truck. Camper van, functional tool, all the good stuff. Now to start working in this cold weather again. We've had some shitty weather forecast, but hopefully it won't be that bad today. Right, Sunday morning. Phil has arrived. He's in the workshop, in the little shed working. He's busy rewiring and moving stuff around. I've been looking for a way of making the exhaust more interesting on that exhaust that comes out. Stainless steel manifold I found in the Thames River probably 3-4 years ago when I was walking. It seems to have a lambda pickup, so I don't know how new or old this is. The cast iron stuff is a bit rotten and rusted. I'm going to clean that up and actually mount that, then thread the exhaust through one of these, which are probably this one because it seems to have the best kind of routing. Mount that against the side wall of the shed, and then that will exhaust and take it out the side away from the shed. But for the moment, that's just going to be cleaned up quickly. Make sure the holes are clear. What else? That's about it, I guess. So yeah, welcome. Do the like, subscribe, click all those clever things, share it if you want to share it with anyone. First thing to do, I guess, is to find some machines, but I'll do all of that in time lapse once again. So cleaned up sort of the joints and stuff, got those studs cut out. More stuff coming out there, but basically tidied up. It's good that all this junk's coming out. Also, interesting, because I still have no clue where this manifold comes from, but the wild guess, having found it on the beach down the Thames River, straight away from where I live, is that it's probably from a marine application. So maybe a little diesel 3-cylinder engine exiting. You look at the water, kind of the I don't know what you would call this. Is probably sand and sort of muck grown onto it, but I'm going to assume a 3-cylinder marine application. And there's a lambda sensor which I managed to get off with my welding shifting spanner for undoing the gas bottles. So I've just cleaned it off and cut it off. That can go back in there now, so that that flow of gas, once the exhaust is channeled in there, is fairly uninterrupted or unimpinged. So now it's just a matter of seating this after I've put all the wire brushing across it. There you go. Hello, Phil.
Hello.
Phil's just busy in the shed.
No, Phil's busy picking up screwdrivers he should have picked up last time.
Phil's busy collecting tools, it seems. Hopefully they're not going back into his workshop. But yeah, I think that is good enough. Now the lambda sensor's back, and we have an exhaust to stick onto the side. This is, by the way, is a Tom and Jerry cartoon style exhaust. It's obviously not appropriate, but actually for my juvenile sense of humour, boom boom. So we've chosen another nice day. The storm seems to be wanting to head this way. There's a fair amount of wind. Clouds. They promised rain by 1 o'clock. I don't know what the time is now, probably closer to 11. And then obviously that exhaust that I've been working on, the manifold, will get bolted against the wall there, run out there and exit just at the end there, past the end. Phil is busy working on the inside at the minute, and I shall shut the door so we don't lose the heat. I had the heater on this morning so the room is nice and warm, core temperatures up. And what Phil has done is to replace this very fancy power source that he got originally, but it has a fan, so this is ideally used for LED lighting units, and I liked it because that little green light on it, but hey, too bad. He has replaced that, leaning down there he says, with a much simpler, quiet,
silent
actually.
Here's the bit that you haven't seen. If you like the green light on the old one,
Oh, this one's got a whole bank of lights.
it's got a blue light.
light.
It's an
So
upgrade.
that's for Bluetooth heating and Bluetooth toilet, Dennis. Dennis will know about this.
And
Of course, we have power.
the unit powers beautifully from it. I tested it before I brought it here.
Right. So at the moment, Phil is just busy moving the wiring and removing everything.
Yeah, so we have, because we're going to run the fuel pump outside, we need to get cabling to power the pump. So
We've got some real heavy duty stuff that I used for wiring the system up.
yeah, so that's the removed connector for the pump.
Okay.
And then possibly, because we've actually got a fairly generous length of, oh no, that's the wrong bit of braided cable. That's the fuel pump cable as it stands, which might be just about long enough.
Right.
If not, we have
More.
more than enough cable
Yeah.
to
The
extend it through.
Other thing I was thinking, just looking at, and I'm using this term loosely, how untidily this is sort of mounted and hanging here. My thinking was moving that unit just around the corner so that it makes the cable a little bit more slack,
Yeah,
but at the same time,
2-second job.
sure. So we'll move that somewhere there that is out the way, probably in the middle even of that doorway. Yeah, somewhere
somewhere
there.
there.
Just in case somebody uses the hangers
Yeah.
and hangs clothing, then at least it's sort of out the way there.
Yeah.
But I think that makes sense, just moving it a little bit out the way.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, again, we've got the remote control that works perfectly.
It's attached to the light switch there, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Let's
take
not-
two. We'll worry about that later.
One job at a time. So,
Right. Thanks,
yeah.
Phil.
My next task is to unclip the fuel line, so it might make it smell of diesel in here.
Sure. And the other thing is, obviously, we're going with a completely new line, which Phil brought, which looks a bit like that. This is the 2mm inner diameter line versus the 4mm that came with the unit. So this stuff shouldn't kink or degrade, or for that matter, kind of create problems in the long run. Whereas the green stuff that came with the pump isn't that good. But we'll get back to that. So I'm going to leave Phil alone here now. Go up to the house, make myself a coffee. Phil doesn't eat or drink. He goes into a full fasting mode. I think he's probably like in a Zen zone when he comes to visit. One day I'll make him eat something. Don't know what yet. Right. Phil, you don't want a coffee, no?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Tea?
No, all good.
Okay, cool
No
stuff.
biscuits.
No biscuits, no. We can't afford to eat those. Right, next job. I'm making a little sheath, a cover that goes over that modern diesel can. I've again had this thing for a long time. I don't even know where I found it. It's junk. But if I retain the front, because I can put a rock in the front of this so you can see most of it, but not all of that. I cut it down there, fold the flap open, so that forms a long enough curtain over the top of the jerry can, because remember that the fuel pickup and feed will come out of here. And then this end, I'll just straighten that out a little bit with a hammer, or I might even leave it because I quite like the look of it. Will be the house side or the street side. So you'll, looking down, this is the side you'll see first. I just think it's another random thing to add. The madness that happens on this property, all the stupid shit I get up to. So we'll cut the bottom out of this. So you got that left. You bet. What do you need? I've got a big, yeah, good thinking, mate. So Phil is now screwing up my video graphing because He is editing. Phil is editing the exhaust pipe so that it will fit inside of the manifold. This is great filming. Camera on a stick. Oh yes, sorry. Let's demonstrate. So that will go in there with a bit of force. Needs to go flatter.
Flatter. Trying not to crush it completely, but
I think being spring-ish steel, it will resist your retention. But it's ovoid. Hey, look at that.
I don't know how much further past that first bend we're going to get
I think
it.
with a bit of force on the workbench, it might go a bit deeper.
Quite a tight radius is the...
Sure. But I think with a bit of force, and then I'll literally gloop in some silicone behind it, because silicone's reasonably heat resistant most of the time. And then somebody will tell me why we're going to die instead. Look at that.
You haven't painted it yellow for a start.
No, it ain't getting painted yellow, mate. That's only one man who does that, and that's Mr. Takashi, if I remember right. Yeah, that steel is lethal.
Oh, the edges of it are
Yeah.
horrific.
That's well beyond paper cut territory.
Well, I think that's...
It's gone up to the bend, and then we've got a blanking plate for the other holes.
we're in...
Phil, I think that's probably enough.
If we
mate.
do that and seal, just so that you don't get a leakage, I think that's enough to direct it in the general
Now,
direction.
the next trick will be to thread it through the wall back to the machine.
Yeah, that's your problem.
Right, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to finish this thing that I started here. Let's see if we can reset that camera. Something like that. Yeah, so as I was saying, now this gets straightened out. I'll probably be sensible if I wear a pair of gloves, because there's no sharp edges, and normally I realise they're sharp edges after I've cut myself, not before, or during. So junk can go in there for the minute. I might use it. It's really sturdy steel, this. They used to make stuff well. Ooh, are you banging again, or are you done?
That with the noise, I think we're ready to go.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly do this. So now you basically have a grubby looking, but at the same time better than original modern new jerry can cover. What do you think, Phil? It's all right?
I think that's going to look really good.
Just a nice little curtain.
Yeah.
I even have a brass cap that actually belongs to a mate of mine. I said to him he could have it, and he's never collected it because he can't be bothered to drive 20 miles down to my house. He wants me to deliver, but I'm not delivering. It lives up here somewhere.
Always deliver.
I know I always deliver, mate, but sometimes you've just got to screw it. And, you know, not today. Right, so lots of sharp edges.
Done banging.
So funny, I do this thing every time. I file it and then I check it with my finger to see if it's still cutting.
Yeah. It's the only way, that's the only way you'll know.
You lose a lot of blood figuring out whether it's sharp enough. Or not sharp.
I don't know whether you want to make your blanking plate, just take those corners off so you've got another couple of screw point options.
That is how it's meant to be. Are you talking about those two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I think that's a sensible
Because you've
move.
got
Yeah, I'll just grind it back a little bit in a
it's
minute.
just, yeah, it's radiusing the corners a tiny
5
bit
mil
more.
or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to come much more on that flat edge, because
Sure.
flat edge you're about right. But I think it's just...
Sure, I'll do that in a minute.
Marking device or a scribing device or... Oh, here.
That is a nice...
So. Whoa.
Would you like a Sharpie instead? Sharpies are a lot easier.
That would be less fun.
Yeah, true.
So there's that. That's about sort of there and sort of about there. I'm
Sure.
viewing it at an odd angle, but that's probably
Sure,
not far
I'll
off.
do that. Thank you. Right. Ooh, says sliding it in gently.
I don't know that I put it all the way in though.
No, you didn't, but I ensured.
You finished it off.
I finished it off. Right, let me quickly do this. First of all, that's as easy as that.
And then have you some...
It's a real problem when you do the sharp edges and you wear gloves because you can't see whether they still cut or not. Yeah. I'm sure that feels better. Right, the gloopy stuff is hanging on the wall there,
Yeah.
on the door where it usually lives. So that's the frame and whatever sealant. Takes a day or two to dry, but we'll get to that.
High temperature.
I'm not sure about high temperature.
Applications, blah blah blah. Construction in the wood.
I would imagine it's not high temperature, and if you really want, I'll open a whole tube of silicon for that small job. Personally, I wouldn't worry, because really all we're doing is creating a gasket.
Yeah, I was going to say, and also by the time it's got there,
That's right.
it's already run through a fair bit of pipe, and
Yeah.
we knew how not
I'm
hot
just
the exhaust
watching
was.
you're gonna headbutt that in a minute. Right, what do you think? This is good enough, I think. You want to test the edges? Don't. Just for luck. That should remove the burrs and expose those that weren't exposed first of all. Right. It's another silly job, another silly thing done. But I do like the whole composition. Undoing my masking taped up camera. Phil's doing the gloopy stuff. It's a horrible tube of stuff.
Yes,
You can
yeah.
be wasteful because the sooner we finish it, the sooner I can
sooner-
buy something better.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't go on nicely, does it?
No, but that's all right. You know, just whack it on as a gasket.
It does what it needs to do.
Sure. And I
Was
think
it that way around or that way
it
around?
doesn't matter. You ask. Right, that's part one. Part two is, I think, use a bit of that yellow masking tape. Just loop it around, literally through that hole.
Maybe
Just
you've
so
got some
it
rag or
stays.
something just to wipe the excess off.
I don't really want to do that because I know
Or
it
paper.
upsets you. I know.
Paper.
See, I have paper, but I never waste it. I reuse it, put it through the washing machine a couple of times. take all the gloop off. There's some more at the back there
Yeah.
on the actual manifold. Yeah, it's probably a good thing sealing it as well. Yeah, this is very much belt and braces. I don't think it's necessary, but because it's all outside. But it's one of those things that probably will make me feel better in a court of law. Did you ensure you didn't gas your guest? No, not really.
This is on the outside anyway.
I know.
So.
I'm just playing up all these stupid scenarios that solicitors tend to dream up. Yeah, we'll gloop a whole lot in there. Shall I stick my finger in there? I don't mind poking it and forcing that stuff in deeper. My dad used to say with force, you could break your thumb in your arsehole.
Wipe away.
In Afrikaans, met geweld kan je vinger in your hole afdraai. That sounds as crude as it is. Right, Phil, I'm going to do this quickly. We'll stop filming. So there you get an idea of that. So if I put a rock down the bottom, and remember the pebbles are going to go right up against it as well. All of this is being redirected obviously into there, the pump and the filter. But then when you've got that little paraffin tank over the top of the diesel tank, I just think it covers it up a lot better. Yeah, another one of those jobs. Stupid stuff, but it makes a difference. Phil is poking his thing through even further. We've got lots of diesel line coming through. Right. You need me to pull through, Phil?
That's fine. What do you want to do? Do you want to quickly try putting the exhaust back in? Or?
Right. Drill? No. The drill has just stayed behind. That's funny. And then fitting the filter and the diesel pump at an angle. Hopefully it goes in. Just raise it, hold the wood and let go of the pump.
No, because I need to keep the angle of the pump correct.
If you can always spin it back.
Happy with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And then diesel tank, I guess.
This is.
The hose.
Have you got the other? Oh, did you have more of those clips, or are they in there?
You had two, which I gave you both, and that's all I've got. So that's for the moment. I'll put a little bracket at the end of that. Of course, we have a 3-cylinder diesel heater in there. See a little manifold feeding out the exhaust. No baffling this time. That's quite baffling in itself.
Oh, that one's already on there. That's good. So let's get that one done first. That'll probably help.
Other than the breeze, I'm quite thankful for the tree, because otherwise if we were out working out there we would be wet by now.
Should get us to where we need to go.
A lot to be said for cordless tools, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's very, very clever. I like it.
This works a lot better when it's not a windy, cold day.
And the rain, it's actually, you can see there's rain on there.
And he has electrics. Right.
For those that don't know, the hose pipe is there just to make it look less like an electric and diesel pipe.
Looks like
And
what it is.
yeah, and down there, that piece of steel sleeve, brilliant idea of Phil's, so we don't crush anything once the concrete pipe goes over the top of everything. Now the concrete pipe needs to go over first before you connect that. Not so.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just checking the length and routing of it.
Right.
But that
That's
should be
brilliant.
fine. So we can have that going down there somewhere, but that's fine.
I'm very, very pleased and impressed and thankful. Thankful, don't forget thankful. Collecting tools.
Right, let's go lifting heavy pipes then.
So we've reinstalled it, moved things around, and we're now test firing it. It'll probably be reasonably quiet with the long piece of exhaust pipe on the end there. It's bloody cold out here because it's raining on my back. And the wind is blowing, so the chill factor is a bit rubbish. We'll fit the concrete pipe around all of that in a bit. We had to change the direction of the feed pipe. It was actually the wrong way around. There we go, comes the smoke. And we have fire up. quiet. Not so quiet. That's good. Three minutes for fire up, but that's his first test run. Are you happy, Doctor? New child is born.
So good. Yeah,
Your new child has been born.
Just want to check that our blanking plate isn't nothing coming out of there, which is good. Now I'm just conscious that was potentially the weak point,
Yes,
and it's below the window.
that's right.
But there's nothing coming out of that, and that's blowing it far enough out.
Yeah, for all the neurotics and whatever. I quite like the fact that the noise, you can hear it, so that if somebody leaves it on by accident when they vacate the room, at least you can hear that it's on.
Yeah,
Right.
bigger bore, louder noise. We just need to put the trumpet on the end of it now.
Yeah, right. All right, so are we smiling?
We are smiling.
And it's bloody wet outside.
Oh, that's why I've been inside testing the heater. I'm not stupid.
With the door shut.
With the door shut.
Unlike
So,
some.
The interesting, you said this morning that was up to 14 degrees.
Yes.
We switched off the heater at 9 o'clock-ish. It's now something o'clock in the afternoon. We've been in and out, door open.
Yeah.
It was 11 degrees in there.
So it's actually retaining a lot of heat.
The insulation of the shed is
Good.
good.
Yeah. I thought it was good. The biggest thing with it is getting the core temperature up again.
Yeah.
I've just seen your IKEA scissors are still sitting on the shelf.
Oh, this is my rubbish. Pieces of rubbish. Thank you.
Right, so now
Well, do we want to
have
do
the
the
pump.
cosmetics?
I wanted to first feel also, that'll go on last actually, Phil, the thing. I wanted to feel it right by the manifold, how warm that is. It's warm.
It's warm.
Cool.
Already here I can hold it. It's pleasant.
Have you noticed? It's gone quiet.
And I'm not holding it any longer than that. Yeah, it's up to temperature now.
That's it. So now,
That's the startup done.
so that's the startup done, and now you hear the real temperature, which is almost non-existent. But there's smoke coming through, which is not.
It'll just be burning out the. That's probably just crap in the actual exhaust. If
Okay.
you think how much debris and stuff there was in there, it'll be
Yes.
burning off anything that's in the hot part of the manifold. And
Cool.
also they do a little bit on startup.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased. Thank you.
That's not an unpleasant noise, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'll step indoors quickly. It's wet outside. I'm just going to see what the actual sound is like on the inside.
Yeah. Well,
You can keep your shoes on. I'm just taking mine off because they're as grubby as
you don't want to
anything.
get them dirty on all the mud that I've traipsed in already.
I'll wash them again, the rugs. Right, so this would be the noise that you heard if you were lying in bed. And to be honest, you'd turn the thing down once it was warm in any case. So I'm happy with that. I think this is a good result.
Yeah.
Thank you very much as always.
That's all right. Again, I think a lot of the noise is the air inlet. So if we wanted to
Yes.
reduce it further, we could route that externally somewhere.
Just block it.